Welcome to the Firehorse podcast, where we talk to B2B founders and leaders about their real life experiences and wisdom on building, selling, and scaling businesses, and get into what actually works across sales, go to market strategy, and AI. Today's guest is Patty Hatter, President and COO at Opsera. Patty has had a remarkable career in enterprise technology. She's held senior leadership roles at AT&T, Cisco, McAfee, Intel, and Palo Alto Networks, some of the biggest names in the industry, and has served on multiple public company boards. She's now channeling all of that experience into Opsera, an AI-powered software development platform that's just made it into the Gartner Magic Quadrant for developer productivity insights, and is building partnerships with GitHub, Microsoft, Cursor, and Anthropic. What makes this story particularly compelling is that Patty has done all of this as a woman in an industry that has not always made that easy, and she has a perspective on leadership, growth, and the future of AI that I think our audience genuinely needs to hear. Patty, great to have you here. Welcome to the Firehorse podcast.
Thank you for inviting me. Great to be here.
Of course. So let's start with your journeys. AT&T, Cisco, McAfee, Intel, Palo Alto Networks. That's a career built at the very top of enterprise technology. Can you give us the thread that connects all of these roles and what you were actually trying to build across that journey?
Well, so my philosophy has always been take roles that I find interesting. So if I know a lot of other folks who've kind of gotten to a particular type of role and then have just stayed there through multiple companies. For me, I always find it more interesting, something that I just prefer to do to learn from one role and then see what can I take from that to my next role. So, I go from um, services to internal transformation programs to CIO to CCO. And the thread always is there's a really strong experience that I had in my prior roles that let me bring something different, something unique, a different type of perspective to what I'm doing next. So I've always found it interesting to go do this, next that. What have I learned? Go do the next thing. So it works for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you've operated at the very top of some of the most male-dominated organizations in the world. I can relate. What has that actually been like, and what does it take to build the kind of credibility and authority that gets you into those rooms?
Well, I think at the base of it, you have to be comfortable in your own skin. You have to be comfortable with what you know, what you bring to the table, and have a voice. So, how the environment is what I was used to. In grad school, I was one of one females in my program. So it doesn't feel unusual. This is just how it is. And it's fine. You're working with colleagues. You're bringing your whole experiences, knowledge, your point of view, and you're comfortable in saying what you feel. You're comfortable listening to different opinions. But I think everybody has to work in a setting where there's a lot of different types of people. And the key thing is being able to listen, different opinions, synthesize what you think, and comfortable in, hey, here's what I believe. Let's talk about it. And just bringing you all of your ideas, kind of your full self to the table. That, in my experience, that helps you feel comfortable, confident, and then other people believe you should be there because you're bringing new ideas, a different perspective to the situation. And you can't sort of sit back or be too cautious because then you're not helping yourself, you're not helping your organization, you're not helping that team.
Yeah, I agree. So, after a career at that level, walking into an early stage startup is a very different world. What made you take that bet? And also, what surprised you the most when you got there?
It's different. It is different. So I had been looking for several years, sort of looking for the right experience to be able to join an early stage company. So I've invested in a lot of early stage companies. I've, worked with VCs that are investing in early stage companies. It is different going from a very large organization where you have a very large team to one that is, very, very early. It's a little bit shocking in how different that is. But I mean, frankly, I was looking for a different experience. I really wanted to see what does that feel like? How can I bring everything that I've learned from my different roles in different companies to the table to try to help build that. So, I was looking for it. So I went in eyes wide open, but it is for people like myself that have, grown up in enterprises, had very large organizations. It's different, but it's different I found it different in a good way.
Okay, so let's get into Opsera. For an audience that may not be deep in the developer tooling world, what problem are you actually solving and why does it matter right now?
Well, great question. And I do think the market's coming to us. So Opsera is a DevOps orchestration and insights program. So the founders launched it during the pandemic, actually. And when you look at what's going on in the market right now with all the AI coding assistants and the pace of software development, as it is right now, it's not writing code that's the issue. It's the deployment processes in most large organizations. So many different tools across so many different teams with so many different processes. That's where the complexity, time, money's getting dropped, not on the developing software any longer. So it's been a really interesting transition where there was always a unique space for an orchestration platform across the whole DevOps process and the insights, the engineering productivity insights, but with everything that has just gone on over the past 2, 3 years around the AI coding assistants, first with Copilot, now with everything else, having that sort of single pane of glass from an insights perspective of what really are our deployment metrics? Where are we getting more productivity for all the lines of code that are getting written by these AI code assistants? So it's made it even more all that change has made it even more important to have that single pane of glass, that orchestration platform across everything that's going on right now. So it's been fascinating to see this journey happen so fast in technology teams, engineering teams, IT teams right now.
So, Opsera just launched a new platform called Forge. What is it and what gap in the market is it filling?
So it's really interesting. What we're seeing is companies are spending more than 50% of their tokens on the upfront intent requirements phase. With all the different AI coding assistants out there, the issue is now more what am I trying to build or what am I trying to modernize and how do I do that? So with Forge, we're able to support customers in that intent requirements phase. So it's a natural language, add in the information that you have. You could put a one line in of, hey, I'm trying to build this, or you can upload documents and you can iterate using Forge on getting through the requirements, the BRDs, the PRDs. Once you have that, Forge automatically builds out your architecture based on the information that you've provided. You agree on that, then that goes right into your AI, whichever AI coding assistant you want. So those user stories get transferred directly in, code gets developed, and then back into Opsera for the deployment. So it compresses that whole cycle time from days, weeks to hours. And it actually really streamlines the number of different personas, types of skill sets that you need, whether you're, like I said, developing something new or trying to modernize functions, systems that you already have. It's to provide that holistic view. So it's really exciting to see what our early customers are already using it for and how fast it's able to bring value to them. So it's been an exciting launch.
One of the things that we've spoken about before is about Opsera's go to market, and that's the partner first approach. So you're partnered with GitHub, Microsoft, AWS, Cursor, Anthropics, Databricks. Why are partnerships so important? And what's the logic behind building the ecosystem that way?
Mhm. Well, we really try to look at it in terms of what's going to be most valuable, most impactful for our customers. And we really see the connection, the better together story between Opsera and our key go to market technology partners brings value faster to those end customers. So that's the model that we have. So we have a combination of our big tech partners, Emily, like you were just mentioning, we're adding in more channel partners. We have our first very successful channel partner that we've been working with, and we're adding on additional ones in other industries. And all of that works with our SDRs and our AEs. So that, we're able to, with our partners, with our channel partners and our sales teams, wrap these solutions together. And again, it's all about adding value as quickly as possible to our end customers. So we really see the more we can bring that holistic story of how they'll get more value in the money that they're already spending with those large technology providers, it's value for them, value for our partners, value for us.
Yeah, I love the better together approach for sure. So we're well into the enterprise AI era now. The early experimentation phase is behind us, and the pressure to show real results is really real. What's the difference between the organizations that are actually delivering on that and the ones that are still just burning budget?
Well, the burning budget, we're seeing that phase just can't stay there that long. I mean, people are really spending money that, engineering leaders, IT leaders that they hadn't put in their budget. So that it's not sustainable at that pace. So you see certain organizations that are really taking the learnings of, okay, how do I understand where I'm getting the biggest bang for the buck? Where's, are there different sets of AI tools where the costing is appropriate for different use cases, and really getting to that next level of granularity of where's the impact? What is it? Which tool at which time is going to have the biggest impact? So it's the same thing that happens in every big technology wave that comes every few years. It's just the acceleration of how fast this is happening from an AI perspective is catching people a little by surprise, but nobody should be surprised that we are where we are. It's just the pace of it, It's just the different technology tools, the different AI tools moving very, very fast. And I mean, when you think about it, it's really important for organizations to have the mindset of willing to change, willing to adjust, willing to learn and move on and get to a different model, a different way of doing things. So there's nothing that's going to last. Even 6 months feels like a long, a long time in the cycle right now. And you just have to get that in your mindset of, okay, we're going to reevaluate. We're going to see what the impact is. We're going to see where our costs are going and keep adjusting. I mean, I think that's always been important for leaders to do. But at this point with where we are, it's beyond critical.
And speaking of major technology waves, you have lived through every major technology wave from the early internet era through cloud, mobile, SaaS, and now AI. Where does this one go, and what should enterprise leaders be doing right now to make sure they're on the right side of it?
You have to keep experimenting. You have to look for impact, to your real impact to your users, to your business, and know that nothing is going to last forever, and that you have to have an eye to what can I do differently? How can I do this differently? What are the different skill sets my team, my company needs to be bringing to the table? It's just moving very fast. So really being realistic around what's working, what's not, and willing to change. Those are always important, but now it's with the pace of change, it's even more critical, even more critical.
Agreed. So, for a founder, a revenue leader, or a woman earlier in her tech career listening to this, what's the one thing you'd want them to take away from this conversation?
My philosophy always is try new things, take risky roles. Like, what is the worst thing that can happen? It doesn't work out and you go do something else, but you're going to learn a lot from the experience, from the situation. You'll meet new people. So, I'm always one for me at least, I've learned the most from roles that were kind of the most different than what I had done before, that seemed most risky at the time. So, if you really want to I think it leads to a very interesting career, and you're going to learn a lot, and that's going to open other doors, but you have to be willing to try something new, put yourself in a situation where it's very different. You've got to dig in. You're in a different industry, geography, company, or all of the above. Be willing to take that risk. Those are the times you'll probably have the most fun, learn the most, and really get value out of it.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. So, for anybody that wants to connect with you or find out more about Opsera, where's the best place for them to go?
Can always shoot me an email, patty@opsera.io, or check us out on our website, Opsera, Opsera.
Perfect. And I will drop those contact details below the video as well. Patty, this has been a brilliant conversation, a career built at the highest levels of enterprise tech, a bet on a startup at exactly the right moment, and a perspective on AI that's grounded in real commercial experience rather than just hype. That's exactly what this show is for. The work Opsera is doing to make AI investments actually accountable and what Forge represents for the future of software development. I think the industry is going to be talking about this for a long time. And personally, as someone building in tech, it means a lot to have a conversation with someone who has navigated these rooms at the level you have. Thank you for being so open about the journey. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. And to our audience, thanks for listening, and we hope to see you again next time.